Oh, that's a fantastic start. Where I'm in like a tiny box in the darkness. Let me just go here. There we go. Welcome to Wrestling Royalty. Welcome to Give Me a Hole, yeah, and welcome to this, the Friday night feature where we'll be talking about. There's nothing else we could possibly be talking about. We've got to talk about that shocking John Cena heel turn that we saw at Elimination Chamber last week, which you would have seen live with the person I'm about to bring in. That's right. For the second week running, it is Mr. Dan Hargreaves. How are you doing, sir? That pop collection has grown even from last week.
It's not grown, it's just been organised a little bit differently. So I had something at the bottom corner there just to fill that gap up.
Well, it's looking resplendent and it's glorious. As are you. You are looking glorious, my friend. I love the knitted sweater, knitted cardigan that's going on in there as we hit spring.
I know. I just thought I'd rock this for a change, something different.
Well, you're absolutely rocking it. And speaking of rocking, we have Mark rocking and rolling in the comment section as always, keeping us up to date with all the latest movers and shakers in the world of wrestling. You can see that he's got some of the news items that are coming through. The WWE not too long ago released on their social media a video of Cody Rhodes telling Lex Luger that he is going to be the latest inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame, scheduled obviously to take place at some point. I don't know if they've actually released the details of when it's happening yet over the WrestleMania weekend, because normally if you go into the SmackDown, you get it as part of that, but I don't think that's been confirmed yet. So I don't know. Mark, have you heard anything on the grapevine? Let us know in the comments. You're all over it. Or Dan, if you know, let us know as well.
No, at the minute it just says it's going to be held during the week of WrestleMania. Its date and venue have not been confirmed.
Fantastic. I'm just seeing Mark just said we can hear but not see. I don't know if that's aimed at us or not. Let us know. I hope you can see us. You should be able to see us. Anyway, we will carry on just in case. But Mark, you can confirm to us if you can see us, or if we are doing a John Cena and you can't see us. That would be quite apropos, I guess. But anyway, yes, 2K25 as well. We can't see Dan. I don't know if it's something to do with this new scene thing that they seem to have added on to StreamYard, and I don't understand why. Is there a way that we can change? I don't know if that's any better. I've clicked another button. We'll see if that works. Anyway, you can hear the lovely dulcet tones.
I've got a second stream up on YouTube itself, just sort of so I can see everything that's going on. And that popped up with me.
Well, now you can finally see that amazing cardigan I was talking about, that knitted number that that Dan is currently rocking as well. Under the "Have a Nice Day" t-shirt as well. Lovely to see.
That's just for you.
Lovely. Well, that's for all the loyal viewers of both Gimme a Hole, yeah, and Wrestling Royalty as well. But as I said, we are here. We're going to be here today. We're not going to have a massive long stream like you might be used to on some of the Friday night features. What we are going to do is we are going to have a very lively conversation about what went down at Elimination Chamber. We saw something that I think a lot of us didn't see coming, and that isn't a pun intended. I would be very surprised, as I said in the description, if anyone had John Cena Turns Heel on their bingo card for WWE in 2025. I think most of us thought that sort of day had long gone, the opportunity had passed. But look, I'm going to throw this up here. I'm going to do a little bit of tomfoolery. There we go. And there we go. Is Mark saying somebody did? I'm gonna call BS that you saw it happening the way that it did, though, potentially. I know if you have followed these Friday night features, Sam did say he was kind of like all in on the old man Cena thing. Again, I'm not sure if Sam even saw the way they went down would have been the way it happened. But as you covered it live, Dan, I'll let you explain to people what went down at Elimination Chamber and kind of just talk me through exactly what happened.
Okay. We'd just finished the men's Elimination Chamber, and John Cena has won with help from Seth Rollins. Seth had been taken out and gave a stomp. to CM Punk. That caused John Cena to get the win, which I think a lot of us thought it would be either Punk or Cena going down that road. And as Cena is celebrating, Cody's music hits, and you get Cody come out. Both guys, a little bit of handshaking, a little bit of sort of celebrating, the usual stuff that you'd expect from these two guys. Both big baby faces, both over with the crowd, even though you get the John Cena sucks chant. You then had the final boss, music, big explosion. He comes out to the ring, and he's basically sort of waiting for Cody's response for asking for his soul, which we got the question on the SmackDown, and for a good few days it was all I think a lot of people in the wrestling world was thinking about. Is Cody going to sell his soul? Will he do it to keep the title? And he basically says, I sold my soul. I don't have my soul anymore. I gave it to the ring. I gave it to the fans. Which we expected. Cody, huge babyface, doing all the PR stuff. We didn't expect him to turn heel. And after he says that, he basically comes out with the line that I think everyone has seen, whether it is Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, X, any form of social media has got it clipped. And it was, hey, Rock, go yourself. And you can understand what word it will be there. I don't want to get anyone demonetized and taken off, so I am being very political about it for you. But after that, Cena was behind Cody, giving it the big one, cheering, celebrating, and saying, yes, this is the Cody that we love. Goes to handshake, pulls him in, and The Rock, from behind Cody's back, does the old Undertaker throat slit, but then holds up two fingers. And Cena's face change. He doesn't have his big smile. He's looking very stern, very serious. As he pulls back from giving Cody the hug, wallop right between the legs. And after that, there is a very intense beatdown. There was a gold watch that was used. There we go. There's some of it. You can see Cena there. He's got that gold watch, basically like a pair of brass knucks. Cody gets opened up. I presume it was the hard way because it looked very good. And just basically got taken absolutely out. So it means that we have now got a heel John Cena basically selling his soul to The Rock. Travis Scott was there as a bit of an afterthought by the looks of it.
Yeah. There are rumours that obviously Travis Scott was involved, and the sort of fallout was that he potentially slapped Cody a bit too hard and bust his eardrum and gave him a bit of a black eye. We'll find out, I think, on SmackDown tonight how true those reports are. It's very difficult to know if people have fed that line into the media to try and get a little bit more heat on the whole situation. And people seem to be lapping it up in the sense of like, oh, we can't wait to see Travis Scott get his receipt. So it's very difficult to know how true it is. And, you know, we'll get more of an idea when we see the state that Cody's in tonight on SmackDown. As, again, not long before we came on air tonight, Nick Aldis has said that Cody will address that and he will kind of go into his reaction to it as well. But yeah, that's a good summary by Dan. And if you want to see his reaction, you can see the reaction that's been clipped and see Dan's reaction in the moment of when it happened as well. So, yeah, I thought it was fantastic. As I said last week when we were previewing it, I didn't actually watch the show live. I watched it the next day and I knew something big had happened because my phone had blown up overnight saying, like, have you watched it? What do you think? Luckily, no one had kind of spoiled it for me. And I must admit, when it happened, my jaw just kind of opened very wide. Couldn't quite believe what I was seeing. I thought it was really well done. Like WWE have these moments every so often where they do things that get insane reactions. Obviously, your mind goes straight to like the Royal Rumble when Sammy hit Roman with the chair. That was sort of the last massive pop moment. I wouldn't say this got as big a pop because I think people were genuinely shocked and it kind of
Yeah.
like sucked the air out of the room rather than a big noise.
This to me was more like Undertaker's streak being broken than it was Sammy hitting with a chair.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it is somewhere in between in terms of the reactions because you could feel that moment where everyone just went, "What?" I thought the commentary team did a great job in terms of like letting enough of it play out before they got their voice involved. And then you just kind of, you heard Pat going, what?" And then Michael Cole going off of it. I've seen people adding JR's voice over the top of it, like back in the day with the like when Triple H used to do like the, "You son of a," etc. So yeah, really cool. It's kind of sent Twitter into meltdown. People were lapping it up. You've seen kids crying, all these reaction videos. On Raw, we saw this very strange opening where they almost made it into like a horror movie. The way that they kind of pieced the promo together, the recap together with the music and stuff. So basically, the fallout is it for all intents and purposes seems like John Cena has aligned with The Rock and has sold his soul instead in the pursuit of his record-breaking title that he would hopefully get at WrestleMania. He, of course, did win the Elimination Chamber, so we do know that it is going to be Cody Rhodes versus John Cena. There's a couple of things we'll get into whether that in itself is a definite or if that will change, things like that. But there's also this whole, I guess we will talk about it. How do we feel about the two fingers across the throat that The Rock did? And previously he's done three. People are now speculating that whether that means there's another person going to be involved or not. Dan, what's your thoughts on that? I have seen Jake is in. So I just want to shout out to Jake, who joins us pretty much every week as well. So it's great to have him in. Jake, let me know as well. What did you think of John Cena's shocking turn? While Dan explains whether he thinks this whole 3-2-1 finger thing that's going on with The Rock actually means anything, or if it was just perchance.
I've already, when I sort of agreed to come on, I literally made a few notes just because I wanted to make sure I hit certain points for you.
Oh,
that's how big of a game changer I think this could be.
All right.
Who's been absent for a while, who's not appeared in WWE for a very long time.
Stone Cold.
I'll keep going, and then when you keep going, when you get it right, I'll let you know. They appeared in The Rock's video package, responded to Punk being friends with The Rock and Cena for years.
Oh.
Someone who wants to go into Hollywood.
Oh, Roman Reigns?
Becky Lynch.
Becky Lynch? Is this why Mark's saying Rebecca?
I think it could be. I think The Rock wants to put Becky back at the top of the top picture of everything, and wants two corporate champions. He's a corporate man now. He is board member on TKO. So he wants a corporate champion in Cena, corporate champion in Becky Lynch. And I think that, Seth helped Cena win the Rumble, win the Chamber, sorry. Who is Seth married to? Becky Lynch.
Well,
everything seems to be sort of pointing towards that. And I think if this is going to be the case, I think that you might see Becky turn up at WrestleMania. If she doesn't show up there, it's got to be the day after on the Raw. Because how many times now, we was at WrestleMania 39, how poor was that Raw after WrestleMania? And I don't think they've really had any huge ground sort of shaking moments for a good few years, and having Becky return would be that one point.
Okay. That's a lot to unpack live on air. As you can see, I haven't heard this theory before. Certainly one I haven't kind of seen banded around elsewhere, but it does feel like she's been gone an awful long amount of time. And yeah, it would give her something to do straight away. Maybe we see it before, because there's a lot of people, the sort of like the upper echelon of wrestling journalists speculating that we haven't seen the last of any changes. There's still sort of big bumps to come in the road to WrestleMania in terms of the matches that are there, and that necessarily they're not as set as people think they are. So do we see other things? So yeah, potentially. We'll go. I'm not 100% convinced that the Rock's thing means anything. So I'm going to go slightly against the grain. I don't think the different things. I think he just forgot, because it's the Rock and he has so much on. I think he just kind of does what looks cool in the moment. I think it's cool that other people are kind of having these theories, and it gets people guessing and speculating. And maybe even if it was an accident and he didn't really kind of mean anything by it, they can use that. They've got that in the back pocket. They've always got that as well. So yeah, I'm not convinced, but it doesn't mean that they can't swerve into it. So I guess it's a bit of a cop-out answer, because we'll never know. WWE can do whatever the hell they want with it. I'm sure they're very savvy as to what people are saying online as well. We saw John Cena's first Instagram post, where he posted them in the sort of walking back through the crowd down the long walkway they have in these bigger stadiums, where he was playing the Thugonomics theme that he used to come out to, was playing over the top. That would be cool if you went back to that theme tune. I love that theme tune. I thought it was great. But what we are definitely seeing is a different side to John Cena. And if we went back a fair few years, when John Cena and The Rock were headlining WrestleMania and seemed to have no love lost between them, who would have called all these years later that we would be seeing them, side by side? I will ask you about Travis Scott.
Yeah.
I'm not a massive rap fan. I like to keep up to date with the sort of the bigger artists, and Travis Scott is a big artist. Was he necessary here, or is there something else that's still to come when it comes to Travis Scott?
I think, well, the rumor is he's actually been training for a match, or a performance in the ring wrestling. So I think this was just a way to see how he could sort of do a little bit. I don't think it was needed, but if they are going to go down this route, I think it could be a sign that he may have not a match, but maybe an appearance at WrestleMania in something a little bit more physical than what he's done at Elimination Chamber. So it could be a starting point for something a little bit more. I don't think it was needed. I don't think that it brought anything to it that Cena and The Rock couldn't have done. And a lot of people there might not have known who he was. I'd heard of him, but I wouldn't go, oh, that was so-and-so. It could have been absolutely anyone else in the ring, and I'd probably go, okay, I'm not bothered. And that was kind of how I felt on the night. I wasn't that bothered that he was there. So did it elevate the segment? Definitely not. Did it detract from it? Not really.
Yeah, you're just kind of there, which it's very strange, because I don't think that people. I think people nowadays, that they know that things don't just happen in WWE for no reason. There's always some reason behind things, and this is why we're getting speculation of when Cody was beaten up last time and John Cena was on the truck in the background, that Stone Cold was there. My worry is, are they going to overbook the John Cena Cody Rhodes match? Because it was great last year when we had all those different people coming out for the Cody versus Roman match, but there is an argument to say it was potentially overbooked, in the sense that was a lot of people going on, and it worked for that match. If you were to do something similar again, I feel like it waters down not just this year's, but last year's as well, because you're like, oh, okay, you're just going to keep doing this. Whereas this doesn't need too many cooks. But my worry would be, are you getting Travis Scott in, because then Cody Rhodes is going to bring another artist out who will then even the odds and get rid of Travis Scott, and that sort of thing. And I'm a bit like, I don't know about whether I like that. Yeah, it sounds like I saw the backstage video that they put out, WWE put out, where Travis Scott was obviously very high, no pun intended there, backstage. And he was kind of like, you know, very excited about being out there, the adrenaline that you get. He wanted to be back out there again as soon as possible, and, you know, all that sort of stuff. He generally seems like he could be a fan of it. There was also pictures going around that Drake was in the crowd, but didn't want any, any press because, fortunately for Drake, he's obviously getting his ass handed to him by Kendrick Lamar at the moment. So he's just trying to keep a bit more of a low profile. But yeah, I think this might be a case of WWE having their finger on the pulse, trying to get like a big name in that will draw a different kind of audience in, because there are audience that might go, oh, I would watch Travis Scott. I like Travis Scott's music. He's doing wrestling now. I'll check it out. Oh, Logan Paul's on there. I'll check it out. You know, like that sort of side of things. And maybe it's just that, but I also am not sure I like this whole smoking weed in the ring and then just calling it Sage.
Yeah. I mean, for me on that, just while he sort of brought him up, Logan Paul, as well as people like Kendrick Lamar, now WWE is on Netflix, which is a lot more accessible to a lot bigger audience. That could be what they are aiming for, is a pay-per-view of sort of this magnitude, and especially the Royal Rumble, hasn't been shown on a big broadcaster, big streaming service without having to pay for it.
Yeah.
Now it's on Netflix. There is no, I'm going to call it a paywall, because in the UK it was TNT Sports and it was £25-30 a month. Some people don't have that freely accessible sort of funds, and the people wouldn't pay £10 a month just for the network. Whereas you ask anyone, oh yeah, I've got Netflix. I mean, there you go. Exactly my point is.
Yeah, it's a coffee, isn't it? Basically.
Yeah, it's a good coffee these days, and you can watch everything that WWE is putting out. So you've got your NXT on there, you've got your Raw, you've got your SmackDown, you've got your PLEs, and for that audience that are into people like Kendrick Lamar, Travis Scott, all that sort of thing, who probably have seen The Rock's movies on Netflix and go, well, I want to see what he used to do. This is a very accessible way to get this bigger audience without a lot of massive work for what it could be.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Jake's hit the nail on the head. We'll sort of rounding out the Travis Scott thing. I think Cody would have told him, make it look as legit as you possibly can. As in, like he's just said, just do it the hard way and I'll take it. Probably not thinking that he would quite slap him the way that he did. It was sort of halfway between a slap and a punch, and it looked a bit clumsy. I mean, I showed it to my wife and she was like, well, he's going to hurt someone because he doesn't know what he's doing. And then when he like sort of slapped in the face, she was like, see? So like it was pretty obvious that he didn't look natural or comfortable in there. But we'll reserve judgment to see where it goes when it comes to Travis Scott, I guess. But well, moving on. Some of the imagery I thought was really cool at the end. Obviously, the shot more where John Cena and The Rock are standing over Cody in the ring, and then The Rock sort of rubbed Cody's blood onto the weight belt. Again, lots of visuals that were really cool. This could get really awkward because, let's face it, these days people can get cancelled quite quickly. If Travis Scott is one of those people, I'm not saying he's done anything wrong at all. I'm not speculating at all. If you then have to somehow change this image, it becomes a little bit odd because you did feature him very heavily. So I do hope they've got a plan for that, and then maybe just dial it back because, in The Rock and John Cena, you've got someone being, they'll stand the test of time. You'd think, you hope, you pray, things can change. But yeah, that's the only comment I'd have on that. But there was some really cool stuff going around. But we've got this came up on Raw, so we have officially got John Cena versus Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. I think this will be the one that closes it. As much as Triple H can say that the match order isn't set yet, I would be very shocked if this isn't the one that closes the WrestleMania weekend in Vegas.
It's got to, hasn't it?
It has to. Like, Everything else, I completely understand, might be up for debate because, whether Gunther and Jey Uso can close a night, whether you want one of the women's title ones on there, whether another one just kind of appears. We'll speculate in a second about the stuff with Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Roman Reigns, etc. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see whether that is one of the hot ones because the way that it's been going, CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, if that was a match, is probably the second hottest thing to go down on wrestling at the moment. We've got Tom. Speaking of hot things, Tom Talks Rubbish is in, and as always says, "What's up, my guys?" Hey, Tom. I hope you're having a great start to your weekend. I've just seen Dan adding WhatsApp images. Is it safe to put on the screen? I don't know if I.
It's 100% safe to put on, but it is hilarious. I got sent that, and I got told that's how Cena's going to come out at Mania. I was laughing my head off.
Oh, I did see. Was it Wrestle Votes instead of Wrestle Votes? Put something about him being bold for the run. So yeah, there's John Cena decked out in The Rock's finest gear. I must admit, I don't know if it was on purpose. I thought The Rock looked a bit like a jacked up Elvis Presley at Elimination Chamber, but maybe it's just me. The Rock. We haven't spoke about The Rock. We spoke about a bit about John Cena. We spoke a little bit about Travis Scott there as well. The Rock's involvement here, where's this leading for The Rock in terms of what's his sort of big character for the future, do you reckon?
For me, I think it's going to be not an authority figure, but a guy who is basically, if you'll scratch my back and do what I want and get some viewing figures, I'll make sure you get these opportunities. I don't think it's going to be like McMahon Helmsley era type thing where they're running roughshod over the full company. But I think Rock will basically be saying, listen to me, I'll get you places. I'll get you these championship opportunities. What are they going to say to stop me doing this? Triple H has got no power over me. I'm his boss. And I think it's going to be an on-screen authority figure that's going against the Triple H because Triple H is doing wonders. Triple H is doing great stuff, and it's going against what Triple H is doing, which is a big crowd favourite at the minute, and being an anti-authority, if you like, but as a heel.
Yeah, I feel like that is the sort of character he's developing, but I also think it's a means to an end to get us to Rock versus Roman next year in New Orleans. It does feel at some point that Roman will potentially stick up for Cody, and maybe he makes the sort of the save this year that keeps the belt on Cody, or from a beatdown or something. Something seems to be in the offing, and it definitely feels like this is the way that we get to Rock versus Roman. Because if Roman sticks his nose in, that'll be one step too far for the Rock, and that's maybe the finger thing is how many strikes someone's had. That was strike 2 for Cody. Because the one that we'd had before was Cody and Roman teaming up. There was strike, the third 3, 2, 1. You're out sort of thing. Maybe that's the way he's doing it. I'm not 100% sure. As I say, I don't know if it means anything, but that could be another option. Is third strike, is Roman interfering in the business, etc. Because we're running out of time, quite frankly, when it comes to Rock versus Roman. Like, all it takes is for an injury to one of them, or people to lose interest, or things move, and maybe something gets even hotter. And I presume The Rock doesn't want to be overshadowed by anything. And, that's always been the case. He does have a big ego. I'm sure he would admit that as well. But you need to keep this angle hot. And The Rock kind of hanging in where he is definitely keeps him out of the ring, being able to do his stuff in Hollywood, but relevant enough to demand that sort of spot next year.
Yeah.
There is something that I wanted to kind of bring up, was that Raw started extremely hot with CM Punk jumping out of the car, coming out full of piss and vinegar, and kind of going on one of his famous rants on the microphone and cutting a pretty great promo. One thing that confused me a little bit, and I think this is what hints more as to there might be more to the main event of Cody and Cena than meets the eye, was CM Punk didn't start by blaming Seth. who ultimately he was the person who cost him the match. There's no way around that. He went after The Rock and Cena, and he said, for Cena, he said, you stole something from me. Technically, Cena didn't do anything to him that anyone else wouldn't have done. He literally just pinned him after he kind of took advantage of the situation, which I think anyone would normally do. Maybe John Cena in the past wouldn't have done that. But even then, it would have been excusable to say, hey, I had you banged to rights in the middle of the, that's not my fault. But I thought it was very telling that he first of all went after The Rock and he went after John Cena. Now, I saw Jake put as well, I don't think it's likely, but I think there is a slight chance Punk gets added to the Cena versus Cody match with his promo and Raw and what happened on Saturday. I agree. I think CM Punk is getting added to this match. I think it's going to be a triple threat. I think the way that it was kind of positioned was they're planting that seed ready for when this moves on. And the other reason why I think that is because if it was just going to be CM Punk versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, we wouldn't get this cage match on Monday on Raw, which you can watch along with Dan. I have a sneaky suspicion that we might even see Roman get involved, and then we set up Seth versus Roman, and that's how we go off on that one, leaving CM Punk free to get involved here. How we quite get there, I'm not too sure. But I just wonder if he kind of goes on a bit of a stone cold rallies against the man, kind of calls people out, just being a bit of a pain in the ass to get himself injected into it. But what do you kind of feel about CM Punk potentially being added to this match? Do you think that's a realistic thing?
I think it all depends on what they do on Monday Night Raw.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is obviously going to be the big factor, and I still think they would rather go down the Punk and Rollins route.
Okay.
And the main reason I think that one is because if you're having Punk and Cena at this sort of time of the year, maybe at WrestleMania, I think it deflates the end of Cena's run as a heel at the end of this year. I think you want to have CM Punk and Cena go out as one of the last matches on Cena's resume. For me, Cena going up against Punk, that's a SummerSlam main event, 100%. And I think that's where you should be, having Punk with a title going up against Cena. I've said it before. I don't know if it was on one of these streams or if it was on a previous one. I would love to see it basically be a reverse of Money in the Bank 2011 with Cena as the heel going out with the title. And that to me would be the great way to end it. And I don't think you've got that option if you do Punk in the main event match against Cena and Cody at WrestleMania.
I just think there's a couple of things that seem to be a bit foreshadowing, is that if they want Cena to win his 17th, which the way that he's talked in the past, and if it just kind of feels like if you are going to give him a 17th, you've done something dramatic like turn him heel, you've had him say certain things like, I want to win it so I can shake the hand of the person who one day, wins. It would be 18, wouldn't it, I guess? Who surpasses him. And that all seems to be set up so those moments can happen. Now, the problem with that is if he were to win, you need to get the belt off of Cody. And at the same time, you want your baby face that's the face of the company to not lose too much respectability and heat. So you either are going to have him viciously beaten down, or you add someone else in the match to take the pin. Now, would CM Punk be happy to be that guy just because it's the main event of a WrestleMania, which is what he's always wanted? Now, he's never said he wants to win the main event. He's always just said he wants to be in the main event of WrestleMania. Yeah. So that's another reason why I think it's not beyond the realms of possibility that he does get added in, because that would add someone else to eat the pin if that happens. And quite frankly, for his career and the way that he has come back and the way that he has been so professional and put on some amazing matches, I'm not against CM Punk being in that match. No. I think it would be three fantastic people. You'd have a heel, a face, and a tweener in CM Punk as well. All kind of wrapped up into this storyline of authority and things like that. And I think it could work really well, especially if Cena's not going to be on every week. I think from now on until WrestleMania, he's on a fair amount of times, but it certainly plugs the gaps in between. So I don't know. He's also got that favor to call in, which is kind of eating at me that we still don't know what it is. Like, I want to know. Like, I know that's really greedy, but I want to know where they're going with that direction.
So on that point, I did actually see I don't know if it was like a screenshot or something. Someone had wrote a few bits, and it was basically like, what if that favour that CM Punk calls in is getting added into the main event match?
Yeah.
That's the way that I've seen a couple of people sort of talking about it, and I think it could work. I think it would be a good way to pull it in. But I don't want to see that. I want to see that further down the line.
Yeah.
Punk basically calls in, I get a one-on-one match rather than I get added to a match.
Yeah.
So I think that deflates his value.
But if his obsession is main event of WrestleMania, then that's his obsession. Like, who are we to kind of like say, well, no, you've got to have a one-on-one match because it's what we want to see. Like, there is that gravitas behind it, and if that's what he wants in his resume because it's just something he just hasn't had, then it kind of makes sense. But my God, if that's true, how much sway does Paul Heyman have if that's the favor? Because I'll get you added to the main event, no problem. I don't know if he has that kind of power, like in terms of like in kayfabe, does he have that kind of power that he could pull that off for him? I mean, the other line that he said during that promo on Monday was, everyone thinks that every avenue is shut now to get into the main event of WrestleMania. So again, you wouldn't be saying things like that if there wasn't a sort of backup to it as well. So definitely more than meets the eye when it comes to him. We've had Sam in as well. I don't know if he's still watching because I know he is currently enjoying a holiday away. I believe he's at Centre Parks, one of the Centre Parks. And he says, hopefully be back next week. Hello from the woods. He is at one with nature. We received some very nice badger photos the other day as well. So Sam, I hope you're enjoying yourself, buddy. And we'll see you again soon back on the stream. I did want to give a shout out before we left for Elimination Chamber to this match in particular, the Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn match. I thought was possibly my favorite match of the year so far. I thought it was so fantastically well done. A jaded wrestling fan like myself, someone who's covered it all over the world. Even I, towards the end, was like, please just finish this match because I don't know how much more I can watch of it. And it wasn't over the top. It wasn't too graphic. This isn't a shot at any other promotion, but it didn't need things like stabbed into the heads, etc. It was vicious enough in this setting, and I really enjoyed it. And Dan, I know you. I can see you sort of nodding along as well. What did you think of Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn?
I mean, it's two people that can't have a bad match.
Yeah.
They might have had not the best build up for this match. I think we discussed it last week.
Yeah.
But you'll put them two in a ring for 20 minutes. You don't need to do anything else. You can leave them. They will plan the full match out between themselves. They will do everything needed to make it the best match of the night.
Mm-hmm.
There was some spots that I thought was fantastic. I mean, even just the image that you've got on screen. Just
biting him, yeah.
It's such a little basic thing, but it just shows the aggression that KO had for Sami in this point.
Mm-hmm.
And we know backstage they'll have finished the match, they'll have gone had a shower, they'll have gone and had a handshake, they might have even had a beer together, but when they're on screen in that ring, you believe every single bit of hatred they've got for each other because it's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Sami performed this during Ramadan as well. So he had been fasting all day up to this point as well. So,
but yeah,
even better.
I'm still waiting for the star rating on this match, though.
It's come out. It got 5 stars.
It got 5. Because I think I said last week, if it doesn't get 5 stars, I'd be annoyed.
Well, you said you were going to go off the Dan Hargreaves 5-star. So did it get 5 stars on that meter?
Oh, 100%. 100%. It was easily match of the night by a long way.
No, I think I saw the women's one got 4.5, and I think the men's got 4.5 as well, and this got 5. I didn't even look what the women's tag team match got. To be quite honest,
I don't think you need to.
No, that was the one. It wasn't even a bad match. It just didn't belong on the card, which was a bit of a shame. But whatever. This more than made up for it. As I say, I thought it was fantastic. They've kind of set the level. Even the Randy Orton coming back at the end, and then the way that they did the interference for the the punt to the head was really well done. Really overly dramatic, of like 12 people just pouring into the ring to stop it. And I also like the fact that they didn't let them off on commentary, because I think was it Pat or was it Wade who said, "Now you're getting involved. Now you're going to stop it," which again kind of made sense.
That was weird.
They'd let them get away with so much before that was the moment. No, that's too far. But it also builds up, Randy Orton punting someone in the head, kicking someone in the head is absolutely ridiculous. So I can kind of see it. So it kind of, it was cool. But yeah, as Mark said, the punt isn't banned. I think they might do it at Mania, quite possibly. And Jake seemed to like it. I did read the barbed wire on the steel chair. I didn't know whether to put it on or not, because I don't know if I put certain images on, it might get us banned or shadow banned or something. So I didn't want to put it on. The steel chair wrapped in barbed wire apparently wasn't gimmicked. It legitimately was. It just didn't cut anyone up. So I presume it just didn't hit flush or at a jagged edge or something, and that's why people didn't get cut open. Because the way they were kind of going at each other, I think it was one of those ones where if it happened the hard way, it just, they would have been fine with it, but they didn't want to gimmick it with a blade. So that makes sense. So yeah, fantastic, amazing from both men. We did say, or especially Dan did say last week, that he fully expected that to be the match of the night, and by God, it absolutely was. That's going to wrap it up for us for the night. We have, of course, been talking about John Cena and everything at WrestleMania. Or going into WrestleMania, sorry, from Elimination Chamber. John Cena, we live in a new era of him being a heel, and we're going to find out hopefully tonight a couple of answers to the questions that we might have. But before we go, you got to make sure that you subscribe to Wrestling Royalty, to Gimme a Hole Yeah, to WrestleSphere, and to my channel, Royalty Running Weight. I've just put up yesterday, my marathon video is now live. So if you want to go see that is up. But there's a very special reason why you should be hitting the subscribe button on Gimme a Hole Yeah, turning that notification bell on, because on Sunday, Dan is going to be going live, and I'm going to throw this up on screen. Dan's going to explain a little bit more about what you can expect on Sunday.
So with it being sort of very close to WrestleMania season, and we've had the last PLE before the granddaddy of them all, I am going to be doing my own sort of kind of predictions, kind of booking for matches that we might see at WrestleMania. So I've got a load of slides, matches that I think will be happening, and afterwards I've been putting together a John Cena quiz just for a giggle. So we've got a John Cena, few questions about sort of his career, about matches, about records, stuff like that. So you can always come in. You can actually play the quiz along with everyone else on your phones. So Mark is actually the current champion.
I thought I was the champion.
Mark won it last week.
Oh, there was one last week. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Was that the one with Sam?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wasn't on that one.
You'll have to come if you want to join.
Might have to reclaim my crown.
But yeah, it's only going to be sort of 20 questions. I might have to throw some other ones in there, but it will be a very John Cena heavy quiz. But we are going to be talking about the men's matches, singles matches, tag, and a couple of other things to go in there as well. So yeah, come and check that out.
Mark, I'm coming for you. I'm going to reclaim that crown. Enjoy it while you can. Chaos form given, bro. I don't care about John Loki. I only need Travis Scott to get. We did say, yeah, we'll see. I think they've got something planned where someone's going to come out, and I reckon they'll even the odds at some point. and I reckon we'll see. Imagine if we see Travis Scott versus Kendrick Lamar or something, because I'm pretty sure in Not Like Us, he uses things like I'm sure he says "Sweet Chin Music" in it, so I'm pretty sure he's got a wrestling thing. Again, that would just be another way to annoy Drake if that is the case. Because let's face it, if Drake was there, he would have done. Then Kendrick Lamar comes out, he's going to be very annoyed. Let's face it. Will as Mark said, will a stunner happen on that would be pretty cool. Stone Cold Stunner on Travis Scott. Let's see what happens.
I'll take it.
But make sure you join Dan on Sunday for his predictions and his quiz. Get involved, guys, because it's really cool. You just Dan will go through all the rules and stuff, but you just need to get an app on your phone and you'll be good to go, or scan the QR code that he'll put up, I'm sure. 10 p.m. UK time, which I think works out 5 p.m.
5 o'clock p.m. Eastern,
yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining us, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. I'm gonna have to there's too many buttons on the StreamYard. They've changed everything. I'm still not okay with the new music as well at the beginning. It's all different, and I don't like change. I don't like seeing John Cena beating up Cody Rhodes as a heel. It's very upsetting for me, but I'm excited to see where this goes. But thank you very much to everyone for joining us. It's always a pleasure. Make sure you leave any comments down below. We do read them after the fact as well. So please make sure that you do leave your comments and subscribe to our channels. We will see you next week where it could be Dan, it could be Sam. Hey, it could even be both. Who knows? You've got to tune in to find out. But make sure you join Dan for the quiz and WrestleMania predictions and previews on Sunday, 10 p.m. UK time, 5 p.m. Eastern. He's been Dan. I've been Andy. This has been Wrestling Royalty. This has been Gimme a Hole Yeah. We will see you next week.